endorsement of the planning proposal to introduce dual occupancy and multi-dwelling housing standards. And I'll ask Peter O'Neill to speak against.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Got a lot to get through, so I'll read very quickly. This is a submission on behalf of the combined community residents groups comprising of North, South, Central Precincts and the Jamberoo Valley Residents and Ratepayers Association. The following comments are concerns raised by our members as to the changes that could occur as a result of the planning proposal and the related new state housing code, and ask for additional safeguards. This planning proposal deals with issues relating to this code, and they should be considered together with the overall effect on the Kiama LGA. Defining the minimum lot sizes for R2 and R3 development is supported by the CCAG, however not the minimum lot sizes set out in the planning proposal. While the current average lot sizes to allow for 2 dual occupancies is 678 square metres, the planning proposal reduces this to 600 square metres. Again, the average density size for 3 terraces in R2 would need to be 1,017 square metres. However, the planning proposal reduces this to 900 square metres. The current average lot size for dividing into 2 dual occupancies is 894 square metres in Jamberoo, while the planning proposal reduces this to an 800 square metre minimum lot size. In R3 zonings, if you applied the current average density size per dwelling to a 4-unit manor house, you would need 872 square metre block, but the planning proposal reduces this to an 800 square metre block. No justification has been made for this decision to reduce the lot sizes from the current average in terms of anticipated dwelling yields. To preserve the character and heritage of Kiama, the CCAG recommends that the minimum lot sizes under the new code for future dwellings in Kiama LGA be increased for 400 square metres for R2 and 300 square metres for R3. The planning proposal also states that it will not result in increased density. The planning proposal will not enable faster rates of development. However, it is the introduction of the new code by the government, not the planning proposal, that may result in faster rates of developments. The planning proposal seeks to modify the new code, so they should be seen together, and they'll have the combined effect of faster and easier complying developments that will mean increased dwelling numbers and greater housing density across the council area. Given these anticipated results, what steps is the council taking to ensure that appropriate infrastructure and facilities to cope with these additional dwellings? How are they measuring the impact of increased dwelling numbers and higher density? The council report states that the planning proposal does not seek to analyse the dwelling approvals against the housing projections, and there is no way of quantifying the likelihood of all those remaining lots being developed as dual occupancies. We agree that this would not be a straightforward task to be able to anticipate future dwelling numbers. However, we feel it is necessary if we are to achieve realistic future planning for Kiama. Many other councils have no greenfield sites available in their LGA, so they can only estimate future dwelling numbers through the redevelopment of existing housing stock or remediation of brownfield sites. Otherwise, we get to the situation of recommending rezoning of greenfield sites as the only other option. The quantifying of future dwelling numbers is a missing link. Until we're able to forecast an estimate of future dwellings and associated infrastructure, we will distort future planning and may easily lead to an overdevelopment beyond our current dwelling targets. The new code states that complying developments cannot be carried out on state or locally listed heritage items or heritage conservation areas. However, many of the heritage buildings that give Kiama its character are not included in this current heritage list. In order to amalgamate current smaller lots for medium density developments, the existing more humble, cheaper dwellings which contribute to Kiama's character will be demolished under this proposal. We are aware that the Council has set aside funding to review heritage issues in the CBD. However, to protect currently unregistered heritage buildings, and there are many of those, the review needs to extend across the LGA. We'd also like to see incorporated into the LEP greater protection for heritage buildings and a plan to cater for the effects of the increased density and dwelling numbers resulting from the changes that this planning proposal and the new state code recommends. And I have 9 seconds to go. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased you got through it all after asking me if you could extend it earlier. Councillor Sloan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Peter. Look, I'm just I was a little bit confused. You kept talking about the sort of averages, like for dual occs recently. I think you said 670 square metres has been the average. But isn't the minimum under the old system for a dual occ 600, and isn't the new proposal still 600? I mean, all around me the blocks are 600 square metres, and there's lots and lots of dual occs going in. So I thought minimums and minimums. Was there a reason you chose to talk about the averages?
Yes, because after speaking to Ed Patterson, he said that the government, as part of this planning proposal, required the council to quantify the average lot size for medium developments. So this was the average lot size of for a dual occ to take place. The average size that it took place was 678 square metres, and that was then divided into two. So this was figures that the state government required from the council.
Thank you. Are there any other questions, councillors? Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Peter, the report given by the director gives us an argument that were the council not to proceed with these LEP amendments, that the proposed LEP amendments would actually reduce the current density rather than increase it. Do you have a response to that argument?
Yes, that is correct. The report's referring to the fact that if the council didn't set their own minimum standards, then the standards that would apply would be the state government standards. But the council is actually applying higher standards than that. But we're saying if you look at the averages that the council has worked out for current developments, they should at least apply those standards to it, or if not, round up rather than round down. The council has said this is the average site per dual occupancy. We will then round it down to the nearest lowest number. We're saying it should be rounded up, because there's really, given the fact that as far as we can tell that the council is going to meet their anticipated dwelling numbers set by the state government, there's actually no reason to increase the density. So rather than go down and increase the density, we say we should round up rather than round down from the current average.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good.
Peter,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.